This video will be different than what I normally do. I will do a reaction video on Linus Tech Tips, his video I was too poor to afford this. Hi, my name is Victor Bart, welcome to Retro Machines. And the reason why I made this reaction video, because Linus Tech Tips needed this case, the Cooler Master ATC 201. And it's the best case ever made, and I had one. So they bought the case from me to make this build. So let's dive into the video and see what they have built and what I'm thinking about it.
eBay fees are still a trip, and I could use some help paying for all this from our sponsor.
This video is sponsored by my long-term sponsor PCBway. If you want your circuit boards designed, realized and printed, you should check out PCBway. Starting prices as low as $5 for a 1 or 2 layer design. Check the top banner for the current promotions. Place your order now, links in the description.
This CPU is ancient technology by today's standards. One measly core clocked at just 1.8 gigahertz. Bleh.
Okay, Linus summed it up how I think about Pentium 4s. I really like Pentium 3s, and the Pentium 4s are... no, I didn't like them back in the days, and I still don't like them.
When I was in grade 9, this Pentium 4 processor was crowned the benchmark destroyer by Maximum PC magazine.
But it didn't last long, because AMD after this came with the XP CPUs, and they were also really fast. It was a good time back in the days with all the new CPUs and graphic cards. It was amazing. In this benchmark the Intel Pentium 4 1.8 GHz is on top, but here the Intel Pentium 4 2 GHz is on the bottom and it's faster. And they comparing it to an AMD Athlon 1.4 GHz, and that was a last generation CPU, because after this the XP CPUs came and they were way faster. Oh, I had to pause it because look at this beautiful case, fully aluminium, no scratches, it was in a really good shape, and I'm really happy that it survived the overseas shipping. I used 8 cm styrofoam on both sides to protect the side panels because they are really thin. But luckily it's good to see that the case is in a really good shape still.
There is no way that I would have been able to obtain the supporting cast, starting with this premium Asus P4T.
Okay, they use the Asus P4T motherboard. It's a nice motherboard with a good overview of it. So let's see. We have 4 RAM bus banks. I think it goes up to 2 GB of memory. Here is the CPU socket. HDP Pro slot, that's for the video card. We have 5 PCI slots, but no ISA slot. Also no CNR or AMR slots. Oh, this motherboard doesn't have a sound card, but it had the option for it. Here we have, I think, USB. Because also there's no chips here, so that's not a network card. And PS2, parallel, and 2 COM ports. I think they had a hard time to find this motherboard because they found the more basic version without all the other options. And it has 2 IDE channels and a floppy channel here. And for the rest, there's not much going on this motherboard. So this is probably really the basic version. And also here the 20-pin ATX power connector. That looks like an AUX connector, but not sure. And here the 4-pin Pentium 4 connector. It's just a really good motherboard, but it's just a little bit boring, just like the whole Pentium 4 platform.
One day, the price of all of this will come down, and I will build a dream machine of my very own. Well, guess what, folks? It's Wednesday, and the pile around me might not look it, but in September of 2001, this was Maximum PC's dream gaming machine build. Dream being an excellent choice of words, since the total cost was about $5,700.
This was the price in 2001, but I think 1 year later this machine was considered like a budget build, and then you could buy this probably for $2,500 US. So investing in the highest end computer parts is really a bad idea.
But what about our eye-watering 256 megabytes of 800 megatransfer per second.
Only 256 megabyte of memory. It looks like they tried to save some money in the build. I would suggest, if you built a dream machine back in the days, go for 512. But they also had a weird choice of operating system, so maybe 256 megabytes is enough for that. But more on that later. This was RAM bus memory, and here in the Netherlands RAM bus was never be big. And when I was building Pentium 4 computers for my job back in the days, we had a time where we had like RAM bus motherboards, DDR1 motherboards and SD-RAM motherboards, all for Pentium 4s. Also socket 478 motherboards, the later generations, still with SD-RAM. So it was always, okay, what is the price of memory doing? And what is the supply of motherboards doing? And what can we match?
Aftermarket CPU cooling was more of an afterthought, with Maximum PC opting for the box cooler from Intel.
I like the Intel stock coolers from back in the days. So from the Pentium 2, Celeron, Pentium 3 and early Pentium 4, the coolers were really solid choices, really good bearings, good big aluminium blocks, and they were just working. Okay, they could make a little bit more sound, but some high-end coolers back in the days make way more sound. But for a dream machine maximum build, I would choose like a really nice golden orb or something way cooler than an Intel stock cooler. So I think when they spec'd out this machine in the computer magazine, they had a budget limit. So that's a little bit stupid if you make a dream machine. If you go for a dream machine, max it out, go for better cooling. But if you find the old Intel coolers, they probably work fine and the bearings probably still working. And with AMD back in the days, they had like the 6 and 7 centimeter fans, and they were really crappy. And they just were worn out in like 2-3 years. Oh, what a beauty it is! And I'm not talking about Linus. The Cooler Master ATC 201. This case is just amazing. The full front is aluminium. The build quality is perfect. It only weighs 5 kilos. So here we have a reset button. Here's some LEDs, nicely tucked away. A little logo. The power button. Here some front USB. Here an air intake. And there was even like a dust filter behind it, but not the easy to clean dust filters that we have now. So when you had to remove the dust filter, you had to remove the front panel, bend open the clips, took out the foam. The one that I sent was pretty original. I even swapped out a screw for the right one, so that they have the complete one. And also the side panel here, you just see it's completely straight because it's pretty thin with some paint on it, and the paint scratches off the side panels on this one is pretty nice because not really scratches, no bends, because it's pretty thin and it's painted. So this brushed aluminium, but this is painted.
In my humble opinion, one of the big highlights of this build.
See? I supplied the big highlight of this build.
The Cooler Master ATC 201.
Also the letters here is just amazing. It's so simple, so subtle. It's not a flashy case, it's just perfect. So Cooler Master, make a new version of it.
We had to reach out to fellow YouTuber Retro Machines who made it.
This was filmed when I had a really crappy camera and I wasn't talking in the videos, but just subtitles. So this is really an early video of me. They contacted me because of this video, because they were so desperate to find this case that they were thinking, oh, he made a video about this case 10 years ago. Maybe he still has it.
A video covering this case 10 years ago in order to get our hands on one. That is how rare these things have become. And good to see still had his kicking around. It supports up to 10 drives, including 4...
This case is still in a really good shape, but it is a used case. And you can see that because the scratches here by the floppy drives and here by the hard drives. So there were probably 4 drives installed, and a floppy drive, maybe a zip drive. And also I put a PC speaker in with the original plastic bracket. And the original fans are in with the fan grills, and some rear covers are in. And this was one of the first cases that I had with front USB.
Front one, back one, top, and it's even got 2 front USB.
Oh, the door for the USB is just amazing. It's such high quality, but not sure why they put the big screws behind it like this. Because this is not so pretty, but the door is just, it's amazing.
Of course, none of that is what's turned it into an absolutely timeless piece of gaming history. That is the aesthetic. Snake oil marketing about convective cooling aside, as Maximum PC put it, nothing says swank better than brushed aluminum.
I really love the brushed aluminum look, and also the drive covers are fully aluminum. What I really hope that they keep every part of this machine together with this machine. Just zip tie it inside of the machine so the covers won't get lost. Because Linus Tech Tips is so big, if they put it away, I think it will be lost. So please, Linus, keep every part of this machine together. And don't throw this machine out. Put it in a museum, put it on display. You will never find this case again, because my other 3 ones I will not sell to you.
Can I take a moment to appreciate this build quality? Damn, I don't build them.
Yeah, the build quality is absolutely amazing of this case. It was the first aluminum case that I owned, and it was the best.
Speaking of ludicrous overbuild, here's a cool feature that we used to see on high-end cases. Removable motherboard trays, and the idea was that, oh yeah, you can, build the whole platform outside of the case and then slide the whole thing in when you're good to go. So convenient. Now
I will now tell you the real secret why cases have removable motherboard trays. It's not for easy installation, it's for LAN parties. A friend of mine, Marco, went to a LAN party here in the village, and he was from further away, and he went with the bus. So what he did was not take his whole big tower machine, but just pull out the motherboard tray with all the cards installed, pull out his hard drive, pull out his power supply, pull out his DVD player, put it in his backpack, and went to the LAN party. And then he had just the motherboard tray on his desk and all the parts scattered around, and he had a lot of fun and didn't have to carry a 25 kilo big tower.
it's fascinating to see how little the ATX standard has actually changed. Aside from maybe making some extra room for a power supply and adding some speed holes for more cooling, you could absolutely build a modern system in this thing. It's been a while since I've installed spinning Rust as a boot drive in a gaming PC, but today we've got not one.
This is so special. They found an IBM Desk Star. I never found IBM hard drives from this era and never found Desk Stars. I found Western Digital, Seagate, Maxtor without any issue, and most of them still were. But when they told me that they were searching for 2 IBM Desk Stars, I was laughing so hard that I fell off my chair and I was saying, good luck, you will not achieve that goal. And if you find the drives, they will be broken. So let's see what they have found.
2 identical IBM Desk Star 60GXP hard drives. At least, that's what we ordered. And one of them showed up as not one of those, which is kind of an issue since Maximum PC calls for a very fast striped RAID 0 boot config.
Maximum PC went for RAID 0 with IDE drives. That's the most stupid thing you could do, because The motherboard has only a PCI bus, and a PCI bus is very limited. That's also my complaint about the Pentium 4 generation, that it didn't have a really high speed interface bus like PCI 64. So it was completely bottlenecked by the PCI. And then you put a RAID controller in it with 2 hard drives, so you probably will never reach double speed because the bus is not fast enough, and the failure rate of those hard drives is really high, so you will lose your data. So if you want fast hard drives, go SCSI or go home. A machine like this, if you put like a SCSI card in it with an 36 or 72 gigabyte 10,000 or 15,000 RPM hard drive, you have a way better experience and way more reliable than IDE hard drives on a crappy Promise controller.
So from my point of view, we should just appreciate the 1 in a million shot that one of these showed up in working order, run the system off that, and then our Promise Fast Track 100 TX2 RAID card can just be for decoration. Now, as Maximum PC put it, rounded IDE cables provide no better performance, but they elicit oohs and ahs whenever we show off the machine, and they felt this was, well...
They are really wrong about rounded IDE cables. They add style points if they are purple and way better performance. This outperforms any SSDs because of the purple rounded IDE cable. And this is the only build where I use rounded IDE cables because they are purple.
Ooh. Ah! But hey, at least we also have some black wire loom to cover it up.
The black wire loom you will see later, it's a total nightmare. This shows that they probably couldn't find the parts that they really wanted. This drive is just missing the cover here, so they settled for it. But this is for me a no-go in machines. If parts are missing or broken off, just go for a different route, but they specifically had to find this drive, and I think they couldn't find it, so that's why they settled it for a drive that is basically broken. Maybe you can find a similar drive and swap out the drive plate, but not sure about this model because I never used TDK CD writers. I went for Black stores and stuff like that. I need to give them compliments about the monitor. They found a Sony Triniton in silver, and if you see the screen, it's completely flat. So this is a really high-end monitor and also really hard to find probably. I also supplied them a silver colored floppy drive. That makes a build like this more epic.
Rounding out our drive selections, the most exciting thing I can say about this Samsung floppy disk drive is that it's silver and sort of matches the color of her case. I guess this is the part in the build where we give up on the cable management and take a leaf out of Maximum PC's book. Yes.
No, Linus, this is just terrible. If you watch my videos of my Pentium 3 builds, you can learn how this really works. Not like this. This is... No. If you take the normal IDE cables, you can fold them, make some packages, and then take the power cables and make some nice bundles and some zip ties, and this is not good. Also, they put a CPU cooler somewhere here on the motherboard. Most times this is for the front fans, and they put the rear fan on this socket, and to be honest, I think this cable needs to be here, and somewhere here is the socket for the rear fan. They are noobs by Linus Tech tips if they make mistakes like this. Just read the fucking manual. But this cable management solution is just terrible. No, Linus, no. And if Maximum PCs advised a cable solution like this, they are done for me. They are not a serious magazine where you can get advice. They are also noobs.
On the subject of things with very different power requirements today, it's finally time for the pièce de résistance, This Asus NVIDIA V8200 Deluxe, a GeForce 3 card.
It's a really nice video card that they put in. But yeah, NVIDIA back in the days bought one other company. And that was really sad. Look at my back. Now you have the hint. So that's why I made the Ultimate Year 2000 machine 1 year before this, that I could put in the 3DFX Voodoo 5500, which is way cooler than the GeForce 3, because the GeForce 3 was just between the GeForce 2 and the GeForce 4, and okay, it was the fastest back in the days, but after that there came the newer cards and the newer cards, and everyone forgot about the GeForce 3 when they got the GeForce 4. But the Voodoo cards, we will never forget.
Which brings us to all the other fun cards we get to install.
Okay, now it becomes interesting. What will they also install? So they're gonna install an IDE RAID controller. Don't do that. Go for Scoosy.
2 more devices. Our 3...
Yes! Tricom! An amazing card. It's my favorite network card, the Tricom. But I cannot read if this is the TX, the B or the C. If you run Windows 95 and Windows NT, go for the Tricom TX, because the drivers are built in. If you run Windows 98, Millennium, Windows 2000 and so on, go for the B variant, because the drivers are built in and it's a really amazing card. So I really love that they put Tricom in this machine, but the other good option for a machine like this is an Intel 100S. Tricom, good choice, Linus.
100 mega...
Oh yes, I see it, it's the B variant! Yes! Bonus points for Linus Tech tips. Okay, the sound card, I never had one. I have no experience with it. It has an crystal chipset. Normally that's not the best, but this card is probably really a good one. But still, if I would build something like this, I would go for Sound Blaster, because I'm a Sound Blaster boy. I grew up with it, so that's my choice of card. It needs a breakout box for all the connections, so that's probably a really good card. I really love this style of BIOS, and now you also see the Sony Triniton monitor. This is the crown jewel of monitors.
You may want to pull up the IDE RAID card. Okay, I know. The Death Star recommendation wasn't the only one that wouldn't age well. Windows ME, the last DOS-based Windows, is widely considered to be the worst version of Windows ever released, largely because it was a reliability nightmare. But unfortunately, when this system was published in Maximum PC, Windows XP had been released to OEMs, but was still about a month away from retail.
So he wants Windows XP. They installed Windows ME. Why are they forgetting about Windows 2000? Because Windows 2000 is the best Microsoft operating system that is ever made. It has no bullshit in it. It's rock solid. You can play almost all games from 98, 99 and 2000 that needs a fast machine like this. So Windows 2000 was the OS back in the days that was perfect for this machine. And they choose Windows Millennium in Maximum PC. Why?
What is going to be great is our audio experience, starting with the other half of the Hercules Game Theater XP that I showed you guys before. What goes at the other end of this thick 2-meter cable? This awesome...
Okay, that looks pretty cool. The Hercules Game Theater. Phones with volume control, mic input with volume control, line inputs, a game port, USB. So a sound card with external USB. I never seen that.
I'm talking analog 5.
Also rear USB, so with this sound card you also get 4 USB ports. MIDI in and out. coaxial in and out, optical. Here the speaker connectors. Okay, this is a pretty cool sound card with the audio box. I think it's a cool choice, but I never use it, so I don't know how good it is. But it looks amazing and a lot of options, so this is nice hardware.
Neither I nor anyone I knew had anything like this. Anything even close to this. If I saw this, I'd be like, what? That's a thing that's possible? In 2001, people were gaming like this?
Return to Castle Wolfenstein is one of the great games, and it runs on the Alchemy Quantum 3D system on the special video cards. There are only 3 games running on that card, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein is one of those.
Why is it opposite? How dare you tell me I'm going backwards? I will tell you when I'm backwards. Oh, come on, Copper! You're in the way, buddy! Let me race! Brother! Is that a missile? Is it firing things at me?
Yep, you did.
I never played this game back in the day. Look, I didn't...
Linus, instead of playing this game, you should check out A2 Racer. It's the best racing game ever. Extra benzine!
Got him! See you later, Kestrel! That'll learn ya!
Does anyone know which game this is?
See you later! Oh, where's his shoot? Where's his shoot? No, he's dead. He's dead. Get over here.
But I don't like flying games, so I probably will never play it.
I might not agree with every single choice that Maximum PC made here, but the thing is, hindsight's 2020, and realistically, if you traded your kidney for one of these back in 2001, you'd be feeling pretty darn good about it for a solid 6 months.
Linus has a really good point about this. After 6 months, this high-end machine was already a low-end machine. The development went so fast, and after the Core 2 Duos, this was completely obsolete. But right now, if you buy something more high-end, you can keep it much longer, because the development is much slower.
I'm also blown away by this segue to our sponsor.
PCBway has an exciting new service. Full color printing on PCBs. So now you can combine your PCB design with some beautiful art. For more information, follow the link in the description. Linus, you made an amazing video. It's an amazing build with some quirks. So please all go watch Linus's video, because I only showed some snippets and the whole video is just fun and cool and retro. I heard sometimes you can lose some stuff in your warehouse. With this machine, don't let it happen. Give it a good space or display, or put in a corner that people can play games with all the controllers, and or do more videos with it where you try out old games and old controllers. And it was a great opportunity to work together with you to provide this case. So if you like to support me, you can support me monthly on Patreon and get access to my awesome Discord server, or use my Amazon affiliated links. And thanks for watching. And please go subscribe to Linus Tech Tips, he needs more subscribers. And after that, you can also subscribe to my channel, because I have more builds that are way better than this one.